Excellent. Hello and welcome to the collective call. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Today is March 17th. March 17th is May 17th. Too bad it's not March. My name is Danielle Francine. For those of you that don't know me, I am a body transformation expert and also an international breakthrough specialist. I have gone through Nick's Freedom Facilitator training program and have worked with him for a few years now, I believe. So yeah, I was really honored and really excited when he had asked me to host this and just to be in this energy and in this space with all of you guys. I'm super grateful. So hello. So I definitely want this call to be interactive. I feel like when we get to have conversations about these things, similar to Brooke and Lydia's call the other week, the conversation between all of us opens up a lot for us, right? Things that we may have not ever really thought of or a different perspective. So I'm going to talk with you girls and guys. Is there any men on this call? Is it all women?
Not yet. So far, yes.
It's all goddesses. I love it. Yes.
Queens.
For any men watching the replay, nothing
But
against.
the replay, exactly, the replay.
Yeah. Watch, this is a man. Yeah, so I want to talk today about the difference between your conscious mind and our higher self. And it ties in with, a lot of what we've been learning about with manifestation in the letting go and not worrying about the how, right? And following the highest excitement. So like highest excitement. So let's kind of dig into that a little bit. Your highest excitement, passion. Let's use the word passion. What does passion mean to you? If I said, oh, like, what are you passionate about? Passionate. What is that verb? What is that action? Whoever wants to go, just go.
I'm gonna go. Okay. Oh, who goes?
Lydia, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Passion for me is that emotion that comes from within, like, and I feel so much bliss and excitement. And for example, like in my life is ballet dancing, is horses, is when I'm dancing or just thinking about horses is like I'm so passionate about. And I'm so passionate about as well, like to perceive how the transformation in people, the people that we've been helping, I'm so passionate about. And it feels, again, it's like it feels powerful, that powerful feeling of bliss, of joy, of enthusiasm, right?
Yes, I love it. Who's next?
For me, it seems like it's a natural thing. It's not something I can mentally get myself into. It's just like a natural state I find myself in. And that's the only way I can really describe that. Mm-hmm. It's just something that happens in my body, just a natural occurrence that kind of causes me to pay attention to whatever it was that I was feeling that way about. It's almost like informing me in a way.
Yes, and that's what I was going to ask you. So it's specific things, people, things, places that elicit that passionate feeling.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you. Who's next?
For me, it's all of what I've heard, and I would add in things I love that I could talk about for endless hours. things I could dive into and forget about the time or what we're doing, or things that I can continue to explore without getting bored. You know, those kind of things, along with everything that I've heard, is passion for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to turn the doorbell off, I'll show you how.
Okay. In other words, let's turn the doorbell off.
In other words, if we do breath work, we might want to turn the doorbell off.
Yes. Show me the doorbell, please.
Okay, so go to participants.
Okay.
And then on the side, when everybody came up, down at the bottom where it says more, it should say enable or able sound or doorbell sound. Different computers say different things.
Mute all upon entry.
Yep. No, not mute all upon entry. That's the person, but there's another one. It says sound, something about sound or a doorbell or
Uncheck.
huh?
Say join and leave sound.
That's it. That's it.
Cool. Excellent. All right.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Just it's what I used to do for a living. It's what we sometimes do for a living. Okay. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's go. Is there one more person that wants to share what passion or passionate for them is? The verb of passion.
Well, I'll go. It's calls like this that are my I feel like I expand so much from these calls and everything we talk about, these deep philosophical kinds of conversations. They just make me so happy. So thank you.
Yes. Yay. Yes, I love that. So, okay, so we have passion, what it feels like, what creates passion. Now, what comes to mind when I say, can you be passionate about being passionate? So, think of it this way, right? So when we have our sights set on something, right? Or we are passionate about, I am passionate about manifesting this, right?
Hey, how are you? Could I just get a
Like,
large or just one the cold brew? That, yeah.
yay, if you're not
With the large? Just you have size?
I just muted him. Okay. So if we are passionate about, let's say, passionate about manifesting this beautiful lake home, and now I'm like, these things are starting to set in, and I have these feelings of, oh, it's not happening, right? They're not passionate feelings. So I need to now come back to my passion and really take it a step further and become passionate about being passionate, which will then attract the things that I'm passionate about. Does that make sense? Is that kind of like a brain nugget that is now needing to be
unraveled?
It kind of reminds me, it's not the same, but it reminded me of when someone said to me this past week, yeah, you can choose which seat is most comfortable, or you could just choose a seat and get comfortable. So instead of saying, ooh, that made me, oh, that brought me to life, being like, I'm going to come to life with this.
It's the choosing, right? Yeah. So like when we find ourselves in the old patterns or the old beliefs, choosing, right? Because it's not always, I forget who said it. I think Janet, it was you that you said it. It's not me choosing to be passionate. It's the things that bring about the passion. And sometimes they surprise me. Right. So it can be hard to make the leap from, oh, I feel, this is not working for me, or it's not happening, whatever these negative emotions are, to like, hey, let's be passionate. Right. But if you can take it to the, well, I'm going to be passionate about being passionate, right? So those things that elicit those feelings of passion, can you be passionate about that? Right? Like the want and the desire to be passionate there. So like another definition of passion, right, would be driven, consistent, you're not giving up. Right? So if you can't get to those feelings of that, the passion of the thing that you want, or another passion, okay, I'm consistent, I'm driven, I'm motivated, I'm doing this, and that is the passionate about the passion. Does that make sense? I see the slow nods.
Processing.
Yes, it's coming.
So are you saying are you saying could be mind-blowing for me that we can consciously choose to be passionate about something?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
I can see that.
So, and this example just dropped into my mind. So I'm super passionate about working out, nutrition, anything having to do with my body, passion, right? No question. My boyfriend, on the opposite hand, doesn't care what goes in his mouth, doesn't work out. He wants to. He's like, how do you get passionate about that?
Ah,
So if you can then become passionate about being
right.
passionate, then you create the passion in that area.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that like being disciplined then about the actions that are required to get to that thing?
So that's a really good question, right? Because then the discipline about the actions, so then the actions,
become effort?
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So if you can keep it to the emotional state of it,
Right.
right? Because when it comes down to the manifestations, right, we're supposed to let go of the how, which is
Mhm.
basically the actions that are needed, right? But if we bring in the passion, then
That's a state of being.
yes,
Then it doesn't feel like effort. Okay.
right? Because it's your state of being that matters. Circumstances don't matter, just your state of being.
So in that state of being, then source can speak to us and guide us to those things. Got it.
Yes.
You're
My-
right.
You're
But my
unfolding the rest of my teachings, and I love it.
I've always thought it was just a natural thing that arose within me. But this makes such sense. I have all the power in the world to even summon it and create it. Oh my God.
Yes, yes, yes. So here's a really cool thing to do for your passion. When you realize that you're not in your passion, you're not acting from your passion, you're feeling those lower vibrations, like, woe is me, this isn't happening. Creating a permission slip for yourself to bring you back to that passion, the passion, passionate, right? Whether it be some type of anchor, right? It could be, a bracelet that you wear. Once you realize that you're feeling this thing, you're like, oh, or every time you look at the bracelet, check in. Am I in the preferred state, right? My passionate state. Or like for me, what I've been practicing this past week was when I am observing these thoughts or these emotions that aren't in alignment with that passion, bringing it back to my breath and slowing my mind down, right? Breathing, consciously breathing, slowing the mind down, and then bringing it back to the passion, right? Okay, passionate about being passionate. and whatever that passion is in the moment, right? So that permission slip is basically your open door to getting back to where you were. Does that make sense? So creating that permission slip for yourself, and it can be anything, but that is an awesome tool to have, so that when you realize where you are, you're like, oh, I got it, instead of continuing to spiral down, or like, oh my God, how do I get it? It's like, okay, here's my tool, here's my permission slip, got it, passionate. Good, more slow nods. I like it. Okay, so do you have any questions about that? The permission slip, the passion, all of that so far? Or any comments?
So my question is, so this gives me the permission slip to find a way to get passionate about like working out. Which is ironic. That's what came to me with, given that you're the host.
Yes. And
I'm like, oh, so I don't have to quit waiting to find the passion. I can just get passionate.
Yep. You just get it. You get passionate about getting passionate.
You just took out all my excuses.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so and now this is something for me to incorporate into my programs too. Perfect. And so like with that, right? So perfect timing. Get passionate about working out, right? I don't want to work out. I'm not passionate about it. And I can get passionate about being passionate, right? And then what comes next is acting as if, right? As if you're already doing it. Because if you're passionate about being passionate, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to start working out. No, I don't want to, but I have passion and I can get passionate about that. What is something that I would really enjoy doing? Right? So and again, that's bringing it back here, like, okay, does going to a yoga class sound fun? No. Does going to Zumba sound fun? Yeah, I like to dance. How about a bar class? Yeah, that sounds awesome. How about weight training? No, absolutely not. So, checking in with that passion, what is something that will align with me and my passion, and then acting on that and acting as if. Right? So, a really good example of that. So one of my girlfriends, she was manifesting a new job, right? And she didn't have a lot of the qualifications for the job. She's like, it just feels good. I'm going to go for it anyway. I want the salary. I want everything that comes with it. So she submits her application. As soon as she submits her, or I should say resume, submits it, she goes to that bank. She opens up a bank account. She starts dressing the part to have that position every single day. On her lunch break, she would drive to the bank every single day and sit across the street from the bank and eat her lunch every single day. She would do things and write her signature with the bank name in it, bank manager, Daniela, right? And so she was acting as if she was already in that position, working at that bank. She got the job. Easy. Right? But she acted as if, she played the role, she stepped into it. Right? So in tying all of that together, right? Your passion and acting as if, and, being the observer of it and realizing when you're not in alignment with that and bringing yourself back, if what fires up in your head is like, oh God, that's a lot. Like that girl went to the bank and sat across the street and ate every day. Like if that feels like too much, then are you really passionate about the thing it is that you want? If you're not willing to take those, I'm just going to call them actions, if you're not willing to, how about use those tools?
I have a quick comment, my dear Danielle.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, since I recall, as I told you, I'm passionate about ballet dancing, okay? So I took classes as a kid, and then something happened, like in my left eye and whatever. And they told me, like, you're not going to be able to dance, blah, blah, blah. But then at the age of 28, okay, 28, and we're talking about ballet dancing, okay? I was like, I want to become finally a ballet dancer. I want it. But again, the inner critic was like, you're 28. You're 28. I mean, how come? And I was like, you know what? I just went with the flow. And in this period, I was listening to this beautiful music before I was going to sleep. And I was laying down on my bed. And as I was listening to the music, I was like, imagine myself dancing ballet. Okay. I didn't know that much by that time at the 28 about ballet and steps and position, whatever. So I did that perhaps in my recollections for 3-4 days at the tops. And suddenly, out of the blue, I felt like the strong impulse to go to this ballet institute here in where I was living. And I reached out to ask for information, and they told me, is it for your kid? And I was like, no, it is for me. And they were like, this is only for kids. And you need to, when you have kids, bring them at the age of 5, 6, 7, 8 at the tops. And I was like, all right. While I was going, outside, the police person that was there taking care of the security, she told me, like, you know what? There's a teacher that just arrived from Mexico City. He has a school, he has an academy, and I believe he's teaching adults. I got there. Back then, there wasn't like Google Maps or anything else. I got there following my impulses seriously, because she just gave me like the name of the street. I got there, I found this guy, and I started to learn ballet at the age of 28. So and I was a ballet dancer for 10 years, from 28 to 38. So, but that embodiment part, and it's crucial.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's like you are teaching the universe what you want, how you want to be seen, how you want to be treated, how you want to continuously feel, and then, right, embodying it is that the passion, and then everything else like that attracts all of that to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can I ask sort of a question? So so going back to like the weight and the exercise and all of that, I mean, I battle with my weight as well. And if you don't necessarily love Zumba, or you don't necessarily love it, but I know how great it feels when my weight is down. I know how great it feels when I'm stronger and when I'm eating right. So can that be part of the passion versus the actual, because I guess that's the sort of acting as if, or getting to the energy of what the result is.
Yeah. And that's a great example too, right? Because you're looking at it in the way of like, I love how I feel. I can be passionate about how I feel there, right? And I may not be such a huge fan of X, Y, and Z with the exercise, but if you're focused here and you're living in that passion, then you would see things coming to you to help you get to this passionate feeling place about that good feeling you, right? Whether it be some kind of new YouTube series of exercise that seems like ridiculously fun to you, right? Or, your friends are going on a trip that has these obstacle course, whatever it is, right? Yeah, it'll come for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was a really good question. Okay, ready for what's next? Okay, good. This blew my mind. All right. So the conscious mind, right? This mind that we have here, that we think gives us all of these great, amazing ideas, and the how-tos and all of that, which is really the thing that holds us back. So let's think about the passion, right? We're trying to manifest the lake house. Okay, lake house, feeling great, passionate about being passionate, and all of a sudden it's like, well, how am I going to get the lake house? It's valued at this much money, and I make this much money, and it's this far away from my job. And how is that going to work? Right? So your conscious mind, your normal mind, its job is to, well, I wrote this down so I didn't mix it up. Its job is to conceive. No, I'm sorry, not conceive, receive. Okay. So basically its ability is to understand how things have happened. So it is able to see from the past, okay, I have manifested these things and it has happened in these ways. So now looking forward, it is limited to that. It can only see how things have happened. So when we are, right? So when Nick's like, just let it go. And we go through all these things, let it go. Just forget about it. It's done. It's done. And we start thinking of the how, it's this. And it's not actually able to figure out how it could happen because it doesn't have that ability. It's your higher self that has the ability to see how things could happen, right? So your higher self, your inner being, right? Whatever you would like to call this part of us, which it is part of us. And I just want to like super clarify that, because I've spoken with so many people that, they say, oh, well, I want to connect with my higher self. I want to talk to my higher self. Your higher self is you. You are your higher self. There's no separation. We think that there's a separation, but there really is not. You can call on your higher self at any time, right? So your higher self conceives, your higher self knows the how, right? And the higher self gives that to the brain, which receives, and the physical mind perceives it. But that could look like, your higher self saying, okay, we're going to change direction. We're going to make a left up here. We're going to go over the bridge. Then we're going to take the stairs, make a right at the bottom of the bridge because this thing is waiting for you at the bottom. And your physical mind is like, just make a left. Right? It doesn't have the ability to receive or perceive everything that the higher self is giving it. It just comes through in like a nudge or like, oh, I should make a left here. Right? So that's basically following your intuition, your higher self, your inner being. So when we now understand that it's the physical mind, the conscious mind, that gets in the way and is trying to do the how-to, right? You can kind of show it compassion and be like, okay, like, yeah, I get it. You're trying to figure out the how and you don't know. And it's okay. You don't know. You're also being guided. Like, let's just let the higher self take over and guide you. So when you have the how-tos fire up, just become aware, right? Be the observer. How is this going to happen? How? Okay, shh. I'm going to give this to the higher self. Because now when we have the how-to, we're trying to figure out how to, we're putting all of this pressure on us and we're not actually utilizing all of us, right? The higher self knows where we want to go. This is trying to figure it out and is taking on everything. So that's then when we start to feel like, oh my God, this isn't working. The universe doesn't have my back. I suck at manifesting, right? And then it turns into basically victimization, right? Now you're the victim and now we're in this spiral. It's like, okay, if you get there, just go back to passion. Where's your permission slip? Let's go back to passion. Passionate about being passionate. Let's start over. Right? And just create that habit. So it could be easy if we allow it to be easy. And the more we know about, right, how all of the things work, the duties of the different parts of us, our conscious mind, our higher self, the passion, the feelings, emotions, acting as if, right, and just practice each part and become the observer to see where is not firing off correctly, and then kind of like troubleshoot it like a program. Right? Imagine if we just focused on that for a couple weeks. What could happen? Maybe magic. Yes, right, Nicole? Yes, returns passion. It's all about passion. How is that landing for you guys with the conscious mind and higher self? And a lot of sex. Yes. That, as long as it's good sex, you'll have some passion in there. So another note that I made that really kind of jumped out at me was when we get stuck in the loop of the physical mind, right? And the hows, it keeps us stuck in our current manifestation level. So, right, let's think about Nick, right? He's manifested 7 figures a couple times. His physical mind sees how that happened because it happened for him. If it hasn't happened for us, it's hard for our physical mind to conceive that because we don't have that experience. So that how is very different. Whereas if you manifested $1,000, your physical mind can get right behind that. Oh, I've done that before. I know how it can happen, and it can happen again. So when we continue to let the physical mind take over the how, right, and don't cut that loop or go back to passion, allow the higher self to take over, we get stuck in that stage of manifesting. That was like, duh, come on, Danielle. Surrender. And the surrender really is surrendering to your higher self, right? To give up the need for everything to make sense, and then you will make dollars. I like that one too. Yeah. So really, like, to tie all of that together, I think the three takeaways would be: become the observer of your physical mind and your higher self, right? When you step out of passion, observe all of that. The second one, commit to being passionate about being passionate, and create a permission slip. Create that permission slip, create that tool, whatever that is for you, that when you realize that you're out of it, it will bring you back in, right? Could be as easy as taking a couple breaths, slowing your mind down, and then resetting to that passion. And then the third one, expect more than your expectations. Because our expectations really are only what the physical mind can perceive, but we can have so much more than that. So if we expect more than our expectations, that allows us to jump levels, right? Cool. Questions, comments, or are you ready for what's next? Quantum leaping, yes. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, so curious how many of you have done breath work before?